2, 1. We are right now. Hello, Mr. Albert. Hi there. We have exclusive, the amazing, and the greatest of his own league. Again, Mr. One and Only United States retired Lieutenant Colonel Sir Albert Clark. So, yes, sir, what we are discussing and what we are cooking today on this
Oh,
podcast.
I thought I'd tell you some exciting stories about pilot training.
Oh, we are very
Doesn't
excited. Yeah.
doesn't sound very exciting, but I had a lot of interesting things happen there.
Uh huh.
To start off with, I uh, got an almost perfect score on the aptitude test for pilot training, it was the highest score at the University of Oklahoma they'd ever gotten.
Oh my
Uh,
God. Uh huh.
and I got 100% on the navigation test. And
Okay.
this was given to me when I was a freshman in college. It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be given to graduates of
Mm-hmm.
college.
Uh huh.
Anyway, so I go to pilot training, and they ask me to uh, help a crown prince of Saudi Arabia. He had flunked out twice in the very first airplane, which is basically a small propeller plane that called a Cessna 172,
Mm-hmm.
except the military version doesn't have a back seat,
Okay.
and pretty well stripped down. But it's basically a Cessna 172, but the Air Force called it a T-41 trainer.
Oh, okay.
And so his English was not good. He didn't have the foggiest idea about anything about flying. So most of the time, of course, we were just sitting around the table while different people were going out and flying airplanes. So I sat around and I tried to teach him what I knew about flying, which I'd never flown an airplane, but I knew a lot about how they worked already
Okay.
because I knew that in grade school. Uh,
Okay.
anyway, so we talked about, and uh, so when it came time for my first solo, uh, my regular instructor had been sick most of the time, so I'd only flown for him like three times,
Mm-hmm.
and 10th flight that you were supposed to go solo. Well, I
Oh,
hadn't flown for him for the fourth, fifth, seventh, eighth, ninth
okay.
flights. And so we took off, flew around once, and I couldn't land the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
I, I just could not get it on the ground.
Uh-huh.
So he had to take over for me. And then he pulled over to the side of the runway and said, well, you're supposed to go solo today because it's your 10th flight. Are you
Uh-huh.
ready to go solo? And I said, sure. Being a nice gung ho second lieutenant, and you're not going to say no. So he said, well, hope to see you again.
Okay.
And he got out of the airplane and he went into the control, the mobile control tower, which is like a control tower for an airplane, except this sits on the ground next to the
Yeah.
runway.
Uh-huh.
It's just a building, a lot of windows. Um, so I get in the airplane and I put on the power and I take off. I didn't have a problem taking off. It was getting the
Okay.
airplane down again. So
Okay.
I take off, and as soon as I take off, they call and say there's a storm coming in. Everybody needs to come back to the airport and land as soon
Oh
as
my
possible.
God. That is
On a different,
chaos.
yeah, on a different runway that I didn't even know existed. So
Okay.
got, I had these maps and things in a thing that I carried on my knee that was strapped to my.
I'm sorry to interrupt on this amazing occasions which we are discussing right now. Please specify the year. Which year we are
Oh,
discussing? Yeah.
this is in 1967.
Oh my God. The U.S. Military Air Force future advancement. Yes,
Right.
go ahead, sir. Yeah.
So I climbed up above the traffic pattern so
Hmm.
I could have time to try to look at my my book that I carry on my knee, which everybody carries on their knee, and
Okay.
it's got the map of the different runways at the airbase.
Uh-huh.
Except this, since we were flying the T-41 trainer, we were at
Okay.
a civilian airfield.
Do we
So
have
anyway, I flipped,
at that particular time you used to have GPS or navigation system in the airplane?
no, We were only supposed to fly on VFR, in other words, visual flight rules.
Okay.
I didn't have much in the way of anything in the airplane except the
Okay.
radio
Okay.
and your altimeter and airspeed indicator and a magnetic compass.
Okay.
So anyway, it was a angled runway that I didn't know existed and had grass growing up through the blacktop was all cracked because it was old and there was
Hmm.
grass growing up through it. So it almost looked like a grassy field unless you looked close.
Okay.
You could see it had blacktop underneath the grass.
Okay.
So anyway, so I come since I was in the traffic pattern already. I got the traffic pattern, and I'm lining up to for the runway, and all of a sudden, another T-41 with an instructor cuts
Hmm.
in front of me to where I'm only about 15 feet from his tail section,
Okay.
and I couldn't land that way, or I'd chew up his tail rudder, and we both crash.
Okay.
So I had to, so I yanked out of the pattern and had to go out away, away from everybody because I was violating all the rules by flying at a 90-degree angle to everybody else.
Okay.
So I get lined up to land again, and another instructor cuts me off. And I had to get out of the traffic
Hmm.
pattern again. And
Okay.
finally, this has been going on for 20 minutes. And
Hmm.
finally, my instructor that was down in that mobile control calls my call sign, edging 1-1. Are you still up there or have you
Oh, okay.
landed already?
What's your
And I
Air
said,
Force name at that time, sir?
oh, that was edging 1-1.
AD-11.
Edging, like as a sword.
Oh, Agent 11. Okay.
Yeah, edging, Edging.
Okay.
Uh, uh, and I said, no, I keep getting cut out of the traffic pattern. She says, oh, I've seen that happen over and over again. Well, pick somebody, make sure he's got an instructor with him,
Hmm.
and cut him off.
Okay.
So I did, and I made the most beautiful landing you can imagine.
Okay.
And there was no place to pull off that runway until you got all the way to the end. So I just added power, and I flew about 1 foot off the ground all the way down the runway, and then set it back down very nicely and pretty.
Oh my
And
God.
from
Very
that time
interesting
on,
to know. Very first time flight, very beautiful landing.
yeah, and that's the very first time I'd landed the airplane
Yeah.
without help. Usually I
Uh-huh.
ricocheted off the runway and bounced so high in
Okay.
the air there was no choice but to keep
Uh,
flying.
exactly.
So anyway, from
Hmm.
that time on, flying that airplane, it
Hmm.
was a contest between me and whoever I was flying, whatever instructor I was flying with.
Oh,
The students were not allowed to use full flaps.
okay.
So we had to land flaps up, which
Okay.
means you had to have more airspeed and by flying with flaps down, you approach the runway much slower, so it's easier to set down and stop quick. But we couldn't do that because we were students, so we weren't allowed to use the flaps.
Okay.
Anyway, the instructors would use the flaps, and I would land no flaps, but I could land a lot quicker than they did. So that's a contest between me and the instructors. So finally, it's time for my final check ride before I graduate to jet airplanes, right?
Okay.
So I'm flying with a check pilot that's never flown with me before,
Hmm.
and we fly out away from the air base. And they said, and one of the things we always practiced was a forced landing. And
Hmm.
the instructor would pull the power off, so the engine's just idling,
Hmm.
and you would have to pick a field to try to land in. Now they didn't want you to actually land in the field and mess up the guy's crops,
Hmm.
but you had to get down close enough to where that you could have landed the airplane.
Okay.
So anyway, he says, engine failure, forced landing. So
Engine
I
failure first landing. Okay.
right, so I line up on a grassy, smooth,
Okay.
right,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gliding down. All of a sudden, I'm going backwards. So I put the nose down. Pretty soon, I'm flying 100 miles an hour, and I'm going backwards.
Oh my God, 100 miles an hour and you're going backward. Just imagine our audience.
Another storm had come.
Yeah.
Yeah, another storm had come in.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
tried it 2 or 3 more times. Of course,
So
I'd
did you
climb up
catch
and
the
raise.
storm or a storm about to catch you? Please tell our
Well,
audience. Yeah.
and In Florida, they don't. The ambulances won't go on the road if the wind's over 35. In Oklahoma, hey, we 35 not a wind.
Okay.
We have we have 60, 70-mile-an-hour winds routinely, several
Uh-huh.
times a year, but didn't blow anything down.
Okay.
When the wind gets over